everybody. Today we're going to have a livecast recap. This livecast was full of information. It's so full of information that this is going to be a long video. And I even have to cut some of it out and summarize it at the end. All the part that Pearson said, was chock-a-block full of information. There's also some cool videos in here, and we're going to take a look at those. I know I'm way behind on the videos. It's because Lore Week 10 didn't come out, and I started playing the BR again. And then the Brew Bear video came out, and I was still playing the game. And then the Daystrider video came out, and I was still playing the game. So I blame the game. I've been playing the game for like 13 weeks straight. Anyway, let's get started. This is going to be a big video.
Hello everyone, welcome to our development update for December. I don't know why everyone's not wearing a festive shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were supposed to.
No, I saw Maggie this morning and I was like, oh, I should have worn a sweater.
Yeah.
But we do have Ugly Sweater Day is Friday. It's like the National Ugly Sweater Day. So you'll see everybody in one. We're going to post a photo. But I think Sarah's wearing something too. So it'll be like all the hosts are wearing something festive.
I feel so out of place. Hi, first timers.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome.
So we'll first start off with Steven.
Yes. Hello, I'm Steven. What are we doing? We're doing
Introducing yourself.
Oh, I'm Steven. I thought we were doing the studio update. Sorry.
No.
Creative director on Ashes of Creation.
I'm Jeffrey Bard. I am lead game designer.
And I'm Margaret Crone. I'm your community marketing lead. And then, of course, we do have a creative director's letter that Steven is going to be working finalizing over the Christmas holiday break, and then we'll be providing to you
And
all.
a cool little video for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Steven's going to do a little video.
Little dude.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
That is for Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, we will have a video that's coming out. We'll also have a little short social blurb with it, but then the full video will be on our YouTube channel. And then also on Christmas Eve, we'll have a video for you all. So we have some stuff planned. Hopefully it all goes out, automatically. So
Yes, there will be no problem.
I don't monitor it too much, but I will have to post it in Discord. So I'll be around. I'll be watching you guys.
Just like Santa.
Yeah, just like Santa. I'll be checking if you're naughty or nice. So first and foremost, let's throw it over to Steven to talk about the studio update.
Yes, so everything is going splendidly. We have a test actually coming up on this Thursday at 1 o'clock. Some PI testers are going to be jumping into Siege with our internal QA for the Siege build that we have. So we're really excited about that. We've been doing some internal play testing with the Siege client, and it's a lot of fun. It's very cool, actually. Kind of seeing, all the siege weapons working and the walls getting destroyed and people capturing the relic. It's been interesting.
We've had some interesting bugs too.
We've had definitely some interesting bugs. That can happen. But going into the new year, we have a whole new hiring phase that's going to be beginning starting in middle of January, I believe, that we're going to be posting a lot of new positions at the studios. So
we'll probably post that on our social media too, so you can help share the love and get people to come
apply. Yes, spread the word to all through all your social medias. Say Intrepid's hiring. Have you heard of Ashes? So yeah, we're very excited about that, bringing on new team members. Also, additionally, we're looking forward to first quarter of next year. There's a lot of fun stuff that we have planned for that quarter. We have some announcements that are going to be happening as well next year, early part of that year. So look forward to those. But yeah, everything's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a quick recap on what was just said. Castle Siege is playable, and people in the Phoenix Initiative will be able to play it today at 1 p.m. I think you're watching this on Thursday. If you are, then that's when they can play it. It still has a lot of bugs, and it's not ready for prime time yet, but I guess it's good enough for people who paid over $2,500 to be in the Phoenix Initiative. Those would be rich people and content creators. I am a content creator, but I am not crazy enough to spend $2,500 to play a video game. No offense to anybody who did. I just don't have that kind of money to throw around. January, they will be having a hiring event in the middle of January, which is good news. If you like people and you like to see them hired, I don't know why they're doing it in January instead of Christmas, because everyone's looking for a job at Christmas time. Probably already have a job in January, unless you've been laid off and it was only a holiday job. But maybe that's completely different in the world of video game making. A creative director's letter is coming out in January. There are 2 Christmas videos coming out, one on Christmas Eve and one on Christmas Day. Make sure you follow Ashes of Creation on Twitter or on the forums or on Discord to be updated when those come out. I will be retweeting them myself, so you can also follow me. I think I'm Sunfrog1 on Twitter. If not, it's just regular Sunfrog. There are some big announcements coming out in the first quarter. The first quarter is January, February, and March. What could those big announcements be? Probably Castle Siege. If the Phoenix Initiative people are playing it, it can't be that broken. It's got to be playable. So I think the big announcements will be Castle Siege, the completion of the move to the new building, and maybe how many people they hired, if they hired a bunch of people. I don't really know when is a good time to get a job as a game developer. I know a good time to apply for a job at other companies is October, because everyone's thinking about December and Christmas and stuff. That's just been my personal experience. Anyway, let's keep watching the show.
And we're hoping that we'll be able to show some more footage of that later down the line. There's some bugs that we want to be able to resolve before we show that externally.
We really need to get to a couple more polish passes before we'll be able to do that.
And not only that, but I think you all have been working on the classes and making sure that those things are balanced too. I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that, because I know that's definitely something the community...
that's a big part of it. We want to make sure that each role has a niche that they fill in this battle, and that a balanced party is kind of where people want to put their whole party in. So when it comes to the tank, making sure the tank is not so tanky. There was a phase where the tank was kind of OP. He was doing way too much damage, and also it could soak so much.
Him,
yeah, it's really hard to kill the tank. And then making sure that all of the mage abilities are useful, and they feel like they have, it's not just a DPS thing, a DPS thing, a DPS thing, but they're actually doing interesting things and changing the sort of overall battle based on what the abilities they're using.
And especially because they are a little bit more squishier than some of the other classes.
They're very squishy.
And this is the first time we're going to really showcase healing in a sense of like a player healing rather than chugging a potion.
Right. So every player starts with a potion, but then we also have the cleric class.
Some don't have healing potions. They have like mana potions. Yeah.
But yeah, so the healer is a really fun class. They are not just a support role. They can do some DPS. They use a scepter. The scepter has an alt fire capability to heal armor when they're shooting people. So that's always a lot of fun. Then they have, this pretty massive AoE res that can bring a bunch of people back and really shift the tide of battle. So it's been a lot of fun playing with that. Not having a class like that, not having classes in the BR, it was fun, but having the classes really kind of brings the character out. It feels like you have a real role that you're playing with in this mode. So
especially when you're playing with other people and working together to accomplish a goal, which is really neat.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I know we do have a ton of questions towards the end here that the community has proposed. So hopefully we'll be able to answer.
We will definitely.
You will, but I won't. Because I had to split that into a second video. Anyway, in that segment that we just watched, we learned that classes will be available in Castle Siege. So everyone has been waiting for classes and to try them all out and whatnot. They're coming soon. Soon as in next quarter. First quarter, January, February, or March. We also learned that instead of drinking health potions, healers will be doing their thing. They'll be grabbing your life thread and... Never mind, I'm not going to say it. They'll be bringing you back to life. And that's going to be important to have friends and allies that can revive you when you get clobbered.
Having tools makes our workload a lot lighter. So, something that, like, on average, I'll give you, like, to do an ability might take 5 days, right? But if we have good tools, that ability might take 3 days. So saving 2 days on one ability doesn't sound like a lot, but over hundreds of abilities, all of a sudden that's a really significant time savings in terms of manpower and the amount of work we actually have to do to get it. So defining these tools and handing them over to engineering for them to work on has been a big part of what we're doing right now. And that's kind of sort of the final thing until we start making our big content push for Alpha 1, which is exciting.
And we do have content being created too. I know that, Sam, for instance, we had her on our Extra Life 24-hour stream. She's nervous to be on the stream here, but I think that she's been working on a lot of lore.
She's been working on
stories
getting sort of the backstories and the sort of groundwork done for what we're going to do with our quest system and the kinds of things that we can pull from for our stories. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
She even walked me through like a couple quest line things, and it's really neat. So you have a lot of options, even though it is semi-linear to some extent, right? Yeah.
If, like Jeff was saying, if we can take an ability creation from 5 days to 3 days, and there's hundreds of these to be created, that's substantial.
How substantial is it? Well, if it takes 3 days and you have 100 abilities, that's 300 days. That's almost an entire year just to make the abilities. This is why you can't have everything you want next week. It takes a lot of time to make stuff. Also, it takes a lot of time to write stuff. And there's a lot of stuff to write. If you think about it, there's lore for Apocalypse BR, Alpha 1. There's lore for the betas. And then there's the lore for the actual game, the MMO. That's a lot of writing.
I think what we need to explain to you, too, is that the world, you wouldn't have NPCs to quest after or to kill. Don't kill them. And you know, or ride or interact with in the world if we didn't fill it up with stuff. So I think one of the main things that we're trying to do is make the world feel really filled up.
Totally. Yeah, and we've sort of been attacking creatures, and like we're now, we have aquatic ones. We're just kind of going around the horn trying to fill out every sort of biome with different kinds of creatures.
Our team is working on crazy biomes that are just
the environment team
they're just amazing. And we've been showing some of those too, so if you're really watching the videos, you get to see a little glimpse into some of the different sceneries that we've been putting out, and also maybe you might get a sneak peek of buildings or fauna or whatnot that's in the world. So definitely keep your eyes peeled when you're
and I'll be taking a look at that stuff because I keep my eyes peeled all the time. I have to make a Brew Bear video and a Day Strider video and some other videos, and there's a bunch of cool stuff in the background. Look at the background behind Margaret right now. See those effervescent spas in the background? What the heck is that? Speculation time. So keep watching. I got more videos coming up. And speaking of videos, here's a couple of videos coming up now that you will want to see. The first one is about the pseudo dragon, which is a pet available to founders. And I just updated to founder level yesterday morning. Woohoo!
So hopefully that answers those questions. So moving forward, let's check out the stuff. So we have a new thing that we haven't shown off, which is this new dragon pet, and I think this is something Keith was working on.
Keith was working on it. He started it a long time ago and then sort of put it down and restarted recently because we were kind of getting to this skeleton shape and we're working on pets and things like that.
So this will be a little pet.
Well, this is the sit on your shoulder. This is the pseudo dragon.
This is the pseudo dragon.
This is the pseudo dragon from Kickstarter.
Yep.
So those of you who own this little dude, he's going to be flying around near your head as you walk around in the world.
Yeah. These things are awesome. Yeah, we have the Fae Beast, basically the first one sort of working off that skeleton.
And you'll get to see that Fae Beast on Christmas, so stay tuned.
Oh, that's true.
You don't get to see it. Sorry, I'm not trying to spoil your good
okay,
stuff. All right.
Somebody said Dracarys.
It is, very much.
It does kind of give you those vibes, but we had that out. I don't know if we had that out around, I don't know what year you guys put that out.
2017, it was out there.
Yeah,
Keith had just done that Elder Dragon, and then he was still on that Dragon King.
He's
like, I'll get another one going. Yeah, they're great.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, Keith's very talented.
And then, of course, moving from there, we have the Mantle of the Silver Temple, which is a headpiece that you can wear.
Yes. Yeah, I was doing some scheduling and some other stuff, and then I just grabbed this. We have a nice backlog of items, so whenever I feel like, oh my God, I could take a break from something organic and do something more, weapon or armor related, I just do a quick task.
Yeah, I just quickly make
I just quickly get that out of the way. Yeah, well, creatures take forever. But yeah, this one was really fun, and I've kind of seen this concept floating around for a while.
Yeah, so this was the concept, and I think the other one was the final.
Yeah, the other one was the final piece. I think I got pretty close. Yeah, that's the final.
Close.
That's the in-game asset. So I think I got it right on for the most part.
Really good.
I've been looking at this one for a while, and I just had a couple days where it's in between stuff, like bigger tasks.
I don't know if Stephen wants to give a little insight into the lore of these types of things, like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these types of headdresses oftentimes, demonstrate a position and or lineage that the character or backstory for the character, kind of where they came from, what inherited pieces they received from their family, the type of accolades they may have received in, participating in certain groups and or militaries in the past. This particular follows the lineage of worshippers, kind of the moon and the stars, a more celestial oriented type of backstory. So it's cool to see these types of headpieces not just constrained to what we typically see helmets are on the head per se, but rather this one kind of has that kind of magical feeling where it's floating behind your head. I think it's a really cool silhouette even to see behind a character, and it's unique in that sense. That you don't really often see in other games.
And you get to keep your hair.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you have a hairstyle you really like, then you don't have to cover it.
Yeah, and I spruced up the back a little because when I originally made it, I was running around. I'm like, oh yeah, you never see the front. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I better make the back a little more interesting.
Well, you will when you're turning your character into a MMO, but yeah.
Listen, it's important when everyone else sees. Everyone else sees it, though. They know.
Now, one of the cool things that I was thinking about for this particular piece, this was one of the accessory items that we had in one of our months, I think, a year ago or so.
It was this year.
Oh, was this year? Okay.
I think so. I remember
but
seeing
this,
it was a year ago.
One thing that might be cool with regards to this, and we'll see if we can get this working, which I think we can, but when your character does, a cast or an ability or something, to have that moon piece actually light up or glow.
Oh, yeah. I want to get Jim, we need effects pass on this.
Absolutely. So that way this is not just a static, cosmetic piece on the body, but rather kind of dynamic in what you're doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
That would take a lot more, but it would be really cool. And then, of course, we have the Dune Wing Falcon. So we have many creatures who have multiple wings,
yes,
which is going to be interesting. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But now you're going to kind of get to see how this one. So this is the model process first of seeing how this creature looks with this double set of wings that we have.
Yeah, and this is the high poly sculpt that I was talking about earlier. Jincy did this, so that I think that's probably around 14 to 20 million polygons for that bird. Obviously a game engine can't handle that, so she reduced it to around 10,000.
I was gonna say
from 20 million. Yeah, now you can see how it comes out though. It's beautiful.
Look how gorgeous that is.
And it's another one where she's taken this from concept through modeling. She rigged it, she's animating it, so this is a full piece of hers again, like the Daystrider.
Jincy's amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, you don't find a lot of artists that can animate as well.
The cool thing about just to give everybody context, and I know we might have said this in the past, but the cool thing about going through the production line of these creatures and cosmetics from our what we call our promise list, which is basically rewards from Kickstarter or the monthly cosmetics, is they all fit within the master category of content that we're creating for the game, right? And we utilize those creatures and cosmetics to kind of set the tone for the varying cosmetics and creatures that we intend to have that are in the game that are a part of that production line. But here you can get a glimpse of just the quality of art that's going to be in the game. I know MMORPGs in general have had, a period of time where, we're playing a lot of older games that came out 10 plus years ago.
I've worked on them.
Right. But just to see the quality, that Ashes is going to debut, I'm really excited about, because I know, game mechanics are really where the central point of, the gameplay is, but it's really nice to have accompanying great game mechanics is great art. And the team here at Intrepid makes really great art, and it's going to make a very immersive quality to the actual MMORPG, so that you can really get into the world you're a part of.
Yeah. And we also can use these as create variants from these that are also in the
totally
world.
And we're going to make a ton of regular 2-wing bird creatures from the same skeleton setup and animation setup. So again, this will save time on owls, hawks, anything moving forward. We don't have to use all 4 wings.
I think we have a video of this guy in game,
we have
don't we?
We have 2 videos.
Oh, nice.
So this is the first video. So we'll let that play and we can talk over it. But
so here you can see the actual person's flying the character.
It's more like a monster coin style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as you guys know, we do have a monster coin system. So a lot of times when we show the models in the game per se, we kind of inhabit the model and show off. Doesn't necessarily mean you can become this model, but that's the perspective you'll see.
Allows us to make videos. And this is, I think, just Jinsey quickly.
Yeah, and a lot of the
animals
animes she's been focusing on right now are for the pet system part of it, and now she's actually starting in on the whole NPC path, so it can attack and take damage and dodge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that little lag was because it started looping the video. So if we can go to the next video, there we go.
And here's just to give you perspective, to the size and ratio of the model itself to a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for this particular cosmetic pet, this guy's not going to have obviously any in-game relevance with regards to mechanics and or combat. Rather, we don't sell the pay-to-win aspect in anything that we do. So instead, he kind of just flies around and hangs around with you, and there'll be a little bit of interaction that's available, perhaps, where, the pets will be able to do something with your character. And the animation team's great on coming up with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing these too, just because it's like it brings that magical feel.
You just gotta tell her to zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. She wanted to really sell that it was this thing.
Yeah.
Are you sad because you didn't buy any of the cosmetics before? I told you. Instead, you kept crying about microtransactions and meow meow meow. But now that you see how cool they look when they're fully rendered and animated, now you wish you could go back in time and get this stuff, don't you? But you cannot, because it's gone forever. But you will be able to catch similar pets in the game. I think. Would you be able to catch pets or just mounts? I have to ask Steven that next time we talk to him.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and show it.
So what are we seeing here?
So here's one of our tests on how many NPCs and entities in general that we can have functioning in a localized space, running, pathing, and navigating around arbitrary terrain.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entities.
There's 5,000 simulated players in this test.
Yeah.
It looks like little red ants, and it horrifies me a little bit.
Right, and some of those are actually, you can see them are kind of like going out of view distance in the distance. So this level here, actually has.
How big is this space? I don't know if you guys can.
That one's about 4 square kilometers. That particular terrain chunk.
Yeah, and why is this important for what we're trying to accomplish for the MMORPG?
Well, so as we just went over, there's going to be massive battles in Ashes. So we're talking about hundreds of participants going against each other. It could be on a caravan raid or guarding a caravan. It could be on a naval flotilla if you're trying to move goods across the water. And then we have the idea that one can siege not only castles but nodes, so the cities themselves.
Right.
And those battles are going to involve hundreds of people. So being able to be performant with all of those people in one place is critical.
Right.
So that's the technology that we're working on, is being able to scale up the number of entities that we can put in one place. Also plays into the NPCs that we can support.
Right.
So when you're on a raid, we can flood the raid with hordes of NPCs that you have to wade through. Absolutely. And that's really compelling from a player perspective of having to deal with that.
Now, I know a lot of players are looking at this and thinking, holy crap, how's my PC going to render 5,000 different NPCs? Right. Obviously, this video doesn't showcase the fact that we will be having some culling logic, and you'll be rendering only the pertinent and important NPCs and or players around you. So don't think you have to, your potato can't play the game. There's going to be aggressive optimization to allow for those large battles to be rendered on players' clients. But additionally, on top of that, you saw there kind of a character dummy, right? And one of the features that we intend to have for these types of large battles, as we've said in the past, is a default player appearance that can, player can set when they know they're going into a large battle, and that can reduce the, basically the load on their computer when rendering all these other players and their, unique costumes.
And you've probably seen that in some other games. Other games sometimes have like a Control F so that you can remove all the other NPCs other than you and the monster, or your party. So things like that. We'll be working on some ideas of how to make it so that when you are in those situations where there are a lot of players, that you can still have a functioning game experience. That's right. For sure.
Mm-hmm. And Unreal is very good about scaling as well. The way that we are able to set up parameters in the engine and have it scale based on the user's system is it's really nice out of the box. And then of course we write custom optimizations and we change Unreal Engine to accommodate our own specific needs as well.
And now this doesn't have like a lot of trees or things of that sort, so it's just a very flat terrain.
It is.
And how is that going to affect things once like there's other environmental pieces that are going to be in the world as well?
So on the navigation graph, trees and everything will sort of poke holes in that, and then the NPCs will not traverse through the trees. So it works pretty well out of the box. Also, it can be dynamically affected. So if you have a boss mob that's sort of a big ogre, as it walks around, it's sort of cutting a hole in that nav mesh so other entities don't want to run through it.
They don't want to get squished.
They don't want to get squished.
And you'll
That
see,
can be fun, though.
you'll see some of these, some of the simulated clients are kind of grouping up together during the video. That's because we do have collision on, and they're hitting each other and whatnot.
That's right.
I noticed there was a question. What about like effects and cosmetic pets and whatnot? As part of that calling algorithm will obviously be some provisions for special effects and what's important to you.
That's right.
Additionally, the default player appearance will remove any non-combat oriented or mechanic oriented cosmetics such as cosmetic pets.
Yes.
And we're already optimizing a lot of our effects anyways too, right?
Right.
Like our particle
That's right.
effects as we're creating them, because we've definitely had some that have caused trouble.
Oh, yeah. No, we had some effects that were thousands upon thousands of particles, and while beautiful, they weren't performant. And there's a certain level that you get to with an effect where you're not really getting more mileage, more bang for your buck once you go over a certain particle count. So.
And even though we're showing this video of 5,000 simulated player, that's obviously not our intent. When it comes to these types of large battles, we're targeting more around 1,000 players, particularly. But obviously, when we're doing these types of things, we go above and beyond that to kind of see where the limits are, where they take us, right?
Yes, and also going beyond our limits allows us to profile more aggressively because we see the spikes and the hits in performance. They're readily apparent. So the more that we scale up, the better, and that's why testing with our Phoenix Initiative players is also critical for us.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, all those people in red are Santa's helpers, and that's how Santa Claus is able to deliver presents all around the world in one day. I think Steven should hire Santa's helpers. Mr. McPherson had a lot of information to contribute to this video. If you want to watch the entire video, check it out on Ashes of Creation's YouTube channel. Here's a quick rundown of all the stuff he said. Leaderboards are active as of Monday when they put up the hotfix. You can't see the results yet, but it's collecting data. The same piece of code that is being used for the leaderboards is the same code that's going to be used in the MMO. They're working on the MMO. They just have to, copy and paste it over. Castle Siege, all it needs is a little polish and some bugs taken out, and it's ready to go. I can't read my own handwriting. There are no subclasses in Alpha 1, so you're going to get the main classes like Tank, Mage, Cleric, things like that, but you're not going to get subclasses like Tank Mage, Fighter Rogue, Rogue Mage. You're not going to get the subclasses in Alpha 1, because they won't be ready by then. The effects are not stackable. So if you hit somebody with the Bone Crusher, I think it is, the one that wraps the red barbed wire around them, and then you switch to another weapon which is exactly the same and you hit them again, you won't be able to wrap twice as much barbed wire around them. It's going to just reset the timer on how long it lasts. But it's still going to be devastating if you ask me. Alpha 1. Caravans are on the wish list for Alpha 1. They're hoping to get caravans and the mayoral system working by Alpha 1. It's up to life and reality if that happens. Gosh, I can't read my writing. Some questions were answered on the forums. Lieutenant Toast did a fantastic job on the questions and answers this month. She went through all the questions on the forums, and the ones that have already been answered in the past, she linked them to where people could find those answers. That way they didn't have to answer them on the livecast. I thought it was fantastic. That gets an A+ for me. And that was the livecast in a nutshell. I know it took about half an hour just to get this video out, but there was a lot of information. So anybody who was crying about lack of information in the last livecast, I think you'll be happy with this livecast. And that's it for me for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget to subscribe.